Hey, what's going on, everybody? First of all, I want to thank Atilio for allowing me to speak. I also want to thank Ayla and her fights and pretty much. As I look across here, I know a lot of you guys because I've seen you guys in multiple rallies, to you name it, standing up for the Constitution of the United States as well as your fellow New Jersey citizens here. I'm in West New York. All right. This isn't a political speech for me. This is about doing the right thing by small businesses. All right. In my area, if anybody knows my area, it's a pure Democrat area. Right. All my small businesses in my area are Democrats. They are hurting just as much as the Republican side of, their small businesses as well. So as I said, this is not a political thing. This is about doing what's right by your small businesses. As I walk down my Bergen line, which is all mom and pop stores, I've watched them going from thriving to watching them have to put, I'm closing soon, to watching them have to put, for rent signs everywhere and, watching it get boarded up everywhere I go. And then I've watched another business take over, and the same thing is happened in each one of those things for 9 months, right? And I'm not seeing any leadership from the Democrat mayors in that town, and I'm not trying to make this about politics, as I said, but I'm not seeing any leadership from the mayors, city councils, all the way up through your state legislators, which should be taking care of your small businesses. Something else that you guys need to know about me is I'm a veteran. Okay, I'm a veteran of both the Marine Corps and the United States Army. The Constitution means everything to me. Okay, I literally signed a blank, a blank check to the government to protect it. All our rights, liberties, and freedoms. And I fought in Iraq in the beginning of the war. I fought in Afghanistan in the beginning of the war as well. And I've been deployed multiple times throughout 15 years of service. Freedom is not free. And I keep trying to tell every American that I get in contact with that freedom is not free. Behind every freedom, I can at least name 46 Marines that lost their lives for it. And I lost quite a lot of Marines throughout my time. And then I've lost a lot to suicides afterwards, but that's the invisible war aspect that comes with it afterwards. We must remember that there is blood, sweat, and tears behind every single freedom that we have here. And that if you give it up willingly, which I've watched the American populace do, I've watched from even places like Afghanistan, I've watched it from Kabul to watch Americans give up rights and liberties so freely. And I'm like, I'm over here fighting to protect you guys and you're giving them up like that? And it's not only New Jersey that I'm talking about, I've watched it across the states across America, and it's frustrating to me. Because I'm like, this is not what my fallen pictured. When we lost them to IEDs or a sniper fire or indirect fire or whatever it wasn't, this is not what we signed up for. We signed up so that your leadership would protect all these freedoms. And now I'm seeing businesses like this have to fight law enforcement to keep open, and having to fight, business licensing individuals as well. It's insane the amount of tyranny that I'm seeing here in our home front. And this is why I put the uniform aside and I said, hey, I'm going to change my uniform to a suit and I'm going to protect your guys' freedoms this way, because it must be protected. When you give it up willingly, you're not going to get it back. I'm going to tell you that way. Unless you actually are willing to have a spine, stand up and fight, you're not going to get your freedoms back. And so this is why I've taken up the fight against Murphy. All right, this has nothing to do with politics to me. It has to do with a dictator type that needs to be put in his place. I've watched Murphy do what he's done for like 9 months, and obviously you see the state senate and the assembly kind of just go along with it, which makes him complicit in his tyranny. As I said, I come from a pure Democrat town where I've watched these people literally hurt. I know for a fact once he lifts that emergency order, that there's going to be a lot of my citizens that are going to be facing eviction. And I'm trying to do everything I can now to make sure that they can get some money in their pockets. They can do something so they're not evicted out on the street. I know for a fact that a lot of them they can't get unemployment. They can't even find a job. That's the really sucky part, is I'm trying to get these people jobs because nobody's hiring in that area for people that have lost jobs due to COVID-19. Another thing that annoyed me was the aspect that we're going to sit here and decide who is essential and who's not. Just because I'm a first responder does not mean that I'm more valuable than somebody that owns a coffee shop. Just like we just heard from the guy from Kentucky. Everybody's essential to me. Everybody matters, and that should be across to our legislators as well. Everybody matters. It doesn't matter if you work at McDonald's. I don't care. You're still essential. Right? So here's the deal. I ended up recalling Murphy, and as you guys probably saw on social media and all that, I recalled Murphy because somebody's got to do something about his tyranny. Right? He's got to know that his behaviors and what he's been doing action-wise is not going to be acceptable by the people here in New Jersey. Right? This is not a political move for me. This has nothing to do with me. This has to do with protecting the small business owners. In fact, I've gotten thousands and thousands of messages of small business owners saying, it's about time. It's about time that somebody stands up and recalls them. I'm not even the guy behind the committee. I had the original committee come out and they said they wanted to recall him, so I was like, let's do it together. And then what I did was I purposely invited Ian Smith. All right, so you guys probably saw that video. I purposely invited Ian Smith because the government wanted to charge him $1.4 million worth of fines. They wanted to arrest him. So nothing is more important to me than having that symbolism there to say, Murphy, you know what? Hey, you're being served. All right, we're gonna get that 1.7 million signatures, and I will tell you, if I were to count how many people have gotten a hold of me, it's well in the few hundred thousands with here in New Jersey. It's a realistic thing that we're gonna get to 1.7 million signatures very, very quickly. There's a lot of people, and it's on both sides of the aisle. It's not just Republicans. You got a lot of Democrats and independents that have lost their whole livelihoods due to Governor Murphy's actions. So I want to actually just thank Ayla for allowing me to speak. As I said, this is not a pure political thing for me. I just believe in standing up for my small businesses. They are the lifeblood of my district. If we did not have small businesses, we would not have any economy in District 32. Besides Edgewater. Besides that, I mean, even that is small businesses over in Edgewater. But other than that, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for being patriots, because this is what you guys do as patriots. When you see a problem, you don't sit behind a keyboard. You actually stand up and you become the change that you want to be, right? You got to become the change. That's why I put on a uniform to begin with. 9/11 took place. I was like, no, nobody's going to do that to my homeland. Nobody's going to do that. So I knew immediately from 9/11 that I was going to join the Marines, and I purposely went to the warfighting function of the Marines. And I was like, I'm going to take the fight to the enemy, right? And I've been doing it for 15 years. I'm over here in New York. If you guys ever want to get a hold of me too, I'm also dealing with the coronavirus task force over there with the New York City Guard. Okay, so we're out there on the front lines trying to help out there as well. But I'm here to help, and I'm here to fight for New Jersey, and I want to thank you once again, and that's pretty much it from me right now. Thank you guys.